Hello Vault Dwellers, and welcome back to another Fallout Cookbook cooking video. Today I'm going to be doing the Mutfruit Crumble. You guys can see that pretty good. It looks delicious. I hope it turns out as delicious as it looks. So let's get started with our ingredients. We are going to need 2 cups of blackberries and 2 cups of blueberries. Now today I'm using frozen, but fresh would work just as well. My store just happened to be out of the blackberries, so I chose to go with the frozen option. They're still partially frozen and they should work just fine. First we are going to need 1 teaspoon of lemon peel that you grate up. And we're just going to dump all this right into our bowl. I also have the juice from the same lemon, and that goes in. That's about 2 tablespoons. I've also got 1 teaspoon of salt and 1 teaspoon of ground nutmeg that we're going to dump in. I've got a 1/2 cup of sugar and 2 tablespoons of cornstarch that goes in it as well. The cornstarch is going to be your thickener and help kind of hold it together a little bit. And one last ingredient is a 1/2 cup of honey. And we're just going to pour that straight in there as well. I did spray my measuring cup with some all-purpose cooking spray to help kind of encourage it to come out a little bit better than it normally would. Let me get that out of our way. And we just need to mix all this together very gently. Everything's going to kind of clump together a little bit on me because my berries are frozen, but it will work out fine. You just want to make sure you don't mash up your berries too much while you're still getting everything incorporated in. Looks like we have one last little clump. I think that looks good. So now, without making too big of a mess here, I'm going to fill my ramekins up. Well, maybe not. There we go. Alright, let's get our ramekins filled. Now, the recipe says 2 5-inch ramekins, but I think I have more berries here than what my 2 ramekins will hold. Plus we need to save room for the topping. So I think I'm going to try and divide this between 3 of them. Make sure it's all nicely spread out. I don't want it to overflow in my oven. While I'm getting these filled, let me remind you guys about the playlist that Japik of Death and I are doing on our channels of cooking videos done by our friends and YouTube family. So if you have a video that you would like to contribute to the playlist, let either Japik of Death or I know about it, and we will be more than happy to come over, check out your video, and get it added onto the playlist. The biggest thing is just go out there and have fun cooking. Let's see if we can get the last of this in here. Encourage you to go over and check out the recipes that have already been added to the playlist. There are some fantastic ones on there. And one of them I've already made twice. So that would be G4's sausage recipe. I've been experimenting with different kinds of sausages, trying to find out which one I think works the best. So And it's been a lot of fun doing that and trying your guys' recipes. So I think these all pretty much look about the same. Let's get the end of all this in here. Let me bring them all back in so I can kind of judge who needs what. Give you a little bit more, maybe you. Oops, sorry for the bowl, guys. Alright, let me get this out of our way. Now, let me move these, and we will get to the topping. For the topping, we are going to need 1/4 cup of all-purpose flour, a 1/2 cup of rolled oats, 1/4 cup of brown sugar, 1/2 of a teaspoon of ground clove, 1 teaspoon of ground coriander, 1 teaspoon of ground cinnamon, a 1/2 teaspoon of salt, and 5 tablespoons of cold cubed butter. And first let me get all our dry ingredients mixed together really well. And the rest of this will come together when I put the butter in it and get in there and kind of work it all around. Make sure you get your brown sugar lumps all broken up. Alright, just dump your butter in. If I can get it off the plate. And then the recipe says to go in with your fingers and kind of crumble it in. I don't know about this. I might, I think I'm going to get my pastry blender. Alright, let's see if we have any better luck with this. Although, with the oats, it's going to make it kind of hard, but I think this will work better than our fingers will. We just want the butter to crumble up into little pieces. It's not going to totally saturate your topping. It will, when it melts, though, in the oven, is where it will get really well incorporated. You just want little tiny granules of butter, though, if we can get that to work. I think I need a new pastry blender. There we go. And back in again. The oats kind of are getting stuck up in there. But we will get it. Just time and patience. Alright, well, we got it down a little bit. Let's go back in again and see if I can get it to come together. Better. Give it one more shot with the pastry blender. Alright, I think this is coming together very well. I think our pieces are just about down into pea-sized crumbles, maybe a little bit bigger. Let's take one more pass through it. And like I said, this is not going to like come together like a crust would. We just want, you're still going to have some dry, but we want it to be incorporated enough that when the butter melts, it kind of brings it all together to form that crumbly goodness that's normally on top of these. Alright, I think that will pretty much work. Get all this off. Yeah. I think that's good. Let me get this out of our way. And bring these back over and let's get these filled. Whoa. Kind of going everywhere. And our last one. Alright, I think that looks good. Now, these are going into a 375 oven for 45 to 55 minutes. I'll get those in there and I will bring you back when they're done. Alright guys, it has been 45 minutes and I've gone ahead and pulled them out, and I will say they didn't turn out right. The frozen berries produced too much liquid and it kind of came up and covered over our crumbly topping. So if you're going to make this recipe, I would definitely go with the fresh berries over the frozen ones. But with that being said, it still turned out because it tastes amazing. The spices I was a little worried about. I thought they were going to be a little too overwhelming, but they are perfect. It's very good. It's also very steaming hot. But, yeah. So, on one hand, yes, it's a failure. But on the other hand, it turned out. Because it still tastes good and it's still edible. Hot, but edible. I would definitely go with fresh berries the next time. I think you'll have a much better result. And I would definitely recommend making it. Alright guys, I think this is where I'm going to leave it. So, a partial failure, I guess you could call it, but that's on my part. So, and I don't, not the recipes. So with that, you know, if you guys enjoyed the video, leave me a comment down below. If you tried this one, let me know how it turned out for you. And go and check out the Fallout Cookbook playlist and the Gamers and Geeks playlist. I will leave links to those in the description box below. But for now, thank you for joining me. I've been Ball Girl. I hope you guys have enjoyed, and I hope I see you in the next one.